Well, it's a beautiful day here today. We had rain all day yesterday, and then it froze last night, but it's thawing out now. Anyway, because it's so nice, I thought I'd do a bit of log splitting, but I'm going to use an axe today instead of my log splitter. Now, they're quite small piles. There's one there and one just over there. And I thought it'd also be quite a good time to talk about the 5 reasons that I prefer an axe over a log splitter. Like I say, I do have a log splitter. It's in a different area and I use it only for the wood that I sell, and that's mainly because of volume. This is all personal firewood and it's relatively small volume, so I don't mind using an axe for this kind of job. So these are the 5 reasons I prefer an axe over a log splitter. The first one, simplicity. All you need is an axe, that's it. Axe and a pile of wood. I could bring my log splitter down, set it all up, but it's extra complication. You don't have maintenance on top of that. So I just love the simplicity of an axe. Just pick it up, ready to go. Now, when you're choosing an axe for log splitting, you want one with a nice wide profile like that there, and I'll compare it to. Actually, I'll use these 2 axes here. So this is a splitting hatchet and this is a cutting hatchet. If you compare the profile of them, you see that this one here is very thin. This is designed for cutting, so it's got a very thin profile, and this one's designed for splitting. It's got a much fatter profile, and that's what I mean by profile there. You also don't really need to keep these kind of axes quite as sharp as you do this kind of axe. So again, from the maintenance point of view, they're very easy to look after. My choice of splitting axe is the renowned Fiskars X27, and this is just a lovely axe to use. I've never used a better axe than this, and I've used lots of different types of axes in the past. Sometimes if I've got something really difficult, I'll use this maul, which does a great job, but I can't keep splitting for as long with one of these as I can with this, because this one's a lot heavier and it just wears you out more. Now, it is worth saying that generally speaking, I would probably only be wanting to split for a couple of hours with an axe. So if you have large volumes to do, like I do with the wood that I sell, I do think a wood splitter is better, but for smaller amounts like this, I think it works pretty well. So the second reason is cost. An axe like this is going to cost you probably about 70 or 80 pounds. You may be able to get something cheaper, but the Fiskars X27 I think is about it was about 70 pounds when I got this one a couple of years ago. If you compare that to a reasonably good cheap log splitter, that's about 300 pounds, and then they go up to, well, tens of thousands if you get these really fancy log splitter. But you can pick up one for around 300 pounds. So there's a considerable price difference between using an axe and a log splitter. Plus, obviously, with a log splitter, you've got the cost of fuel, cost of maintenance, oil, all those things on top. So with an axe, you have basically nothing to do. Once you can keep the edge sharpish, but there's no real cost in maintaining an axe really. So cost was number 2. So reason number 3 is speed. I think it's probably quicker to split with an axe than it is with a log splitter. The difference is that I can split for all day on a log splitter, but I'd only want to do a couple of hours splitting with an axe. But I would say it's probably generally a bit quicker than using certainly the log splitter I've got. When you get into these kind of multi-wedge or multi-bladed log splitters, that might be different, but the speed using an axe compared to a single blade log splitter, I think it's a lot quicker, assuming that the wood you're working with is relatively clean grained. So behind me, this is all ash and it's all quite straight. There's not that much knotty stuff in there. When you're splitting a lot of really knotty wood, then the splitter comes into its own. But if the wood's reasonably clean, I mean, there's a couple of bits down here with knots in, but generally speaking, you can work pretty quickly with an axe. So yeah, that's the speed is number 3. So reason number 4 is exercise. It's a great way to spend a couple of hours just working away through pile of wood like that. I do say that making firewood warms you twice, well, at least twice. So one of those times will be when you split it, especially if you're doing it with an axe. So really good workout. So number 5 is enjoyment. I really enjoy splitting firewood with an axe. And you're maintaining or building up a skill. You're learning how to use an axe, you're learning how to use it without damaging it. And you learn a bit about how the wood splits and how different species split. And you don't really learn that when you're using a log splitter, because it will kind of deal with everything. So those are the 5 reasons I prefer using an axe over a log splitter. As I mentioned, the pile behind me is all for personal use, and it's a small amount, so it's an ideal way to spend a couple of hours on a nice day just working through it with an axe. For larger volumes, like the firewood that I sell, I would prefer to use a log splitter for that, to be honest. So I'm going to get on and split that now, and that'll be in the next video. So I hope you found that useful and interesting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Reason number 4. What's reason number 4? What is reason number 4? Reason number 4 is I can't remember what reason number 4 is.